Welcome to Ledenon. I suspect that's French for no mercy because this track is absolutely ruthless. I felt like I was fighting the car just as much as I was battling with the other racers. There are so many blind corners and difficult transitions of elevation and camber, and they threaten to throw your car off balance at any given moment. And funnily enough, Ledenon is actually included as part of iRacing's base content, but honestly, it feels like a huge middle finger to anyone coming into sim racing for the first time, just because of how challenging it is to drive here. Anyway, we're starting in 14th out of 27 drivers. Not so good, could be worse. I'm actually not sure how Adrian Gretsch avoided getting a jump start penalty here, but snitches get stitches, so I ain't saying nothing. We get a better launch than Matthew Bakia ahead of us, but we get boxed in by Nathan Favero and we're 3 wide into turn 1, which is a very bad place to be, so we cautiously back out and let Bakia take the position. We can see smoke ahead, and that's Kane Ryder after some unfortunate netcode with Brett McBurney. He's stuck in the middle of the circuit and the Red Sea parts around him. Favero goes the long way around Ryder's stricken car. That leaves us running side by side all the way down to Virage du Pont, also known as Turn 5. He sends it down the inside of Gretsch and into the side of Bakia's car, earning himself a drive-through penalty. The incident takes out 3 cars, promoting us up the order, but Chris Barnes slips through to claim 11th, then Ross Hansen gets the better of us into Turn 6, which I can't pronounce, pushing us down into 13th place. Kane Ryder's already made an incredible recovery and we momentarily hold him at bay, but he goes through into La Cormelle, the fast left-hander that dives down the hill, and we slot in behind him in 14th. Just ahead of us, Gustavo Cirillo gets punted by Aiden Schweikart, sending him off at Le Cavalet and gifting us another position. But I've got a mirror full of Mark Bowman and I'm a bit too cautious, preempting an attack here, and I lose ground to Kane Ryder ahead. At this point, a safety car gets called for the earlier 3-car incident involving Favero, Gretsch and Bakia. Kane Ryder looks to be oblivious to the radio call and overtakes Hansen and Chris Barnes before realizing his mistake and attempting to redress it. Not knowing where he's trying to slot back in, we unintentionally gain a position, stepping up to 12th. Ryder gets a 10-second penalty for this infringement. At the end of lap 2, the safety car goes in and we restart the race. Hansen goes deep at La Servie on lap 3, but it's not enough to let us pass. At the start of lap 4, Vaughn Ryder, that's Kane's brother, pushes too hard into the notorious triple gauche and loses it in an unforced error. That promotes us up to 11th, with Kane sitting right behind us. Now, one of the benefits of having a human spotter is that they can give you a lot more detailed information than the AI. See, I'd never raced with Kane Ryder before. This was his debut round in the Australian Formula Ford E-Series, and he would quickly go on to become a force to be reckoned with, but at this point in time, he's a nobody to me. All I have to go off is the pace we've been running after the safety car restart, and based on that, I wrongly assume that he and I are on similar pace. But my spotter Jared informs me that Ryder actually qualified in 2nd place, so it suddenly dawns on me that he's holding back tremendously. Things get a bit messy for us at La Servie when Jared warns me of Kane Ryder's potential attack. I leave space on the inside, but Ryder backs out of it and we both lose a bit of time to Hansen ahead. Ryder is clearly the faster driver of the two of us, and he gets a good slipstream behind me on the home straight, so I back off the throttle for a second to let him through cleanly ahead of the dangerous triple gauche to avoid any incidents. At the start of lap 6, we have an ass-puckering moment in the triple gauche. It might not look like much on camera here, but I assure you we were on the verge of death. Now Kane's brother Vaughn Ryder is all over the back of us. I overcook the entry into La Cuvette, which is one of the most important corners on the track, as you need to carry the momentum up the steep hill and onto the home straight. With our compromised line, Ryder's able to breeze on by without any difficulty. Next, it's Chris Barnes' turn to go for a slide at the triple gauche. Vaughn Ryder sees this, and he slows down slightly ahead of us as a precaution, but that puts us in a difficult spot. See, the balance of the car is extremely delicate through this series of left-handers, and suddenly braking or changing your line often spells disaster. We have to wash off a lot of speed in order to avoid collecting bounds on our way through. To illustrate my point, on lap 11, Ross Hansen loses it in the triple gauche, which triggers Vaughn to go around too. In fact, they very narrowly avoid coming together. Hansen recovers well, but we steal 11th back from Ryder. We're setting personal bests at this stage of the race, but we're simply outclassed by Hansen, who slowly ekes off into the distance. By lap 14, Vaughn Ryder has recovered and is putting the pressure on us again. He comes through at La Servie. We get a great exit this time out of La Cuvette and sit in Ryder's slipstream, but it's just not quite enough to get the pass done, and we actually lift slightly again, which was probably unnecessary in hindsight, but I really didn't want to cause a crash. Vaughn is steadily dropping us now, and a lapse in concentration on lap 16 sees us getting all out of shape in the triple gauche. Our time has come, and we've been chosen by the Angel of Death. I try to avoid a spin, but that leads me to hitting the gravel at high speed, and suddenly I'm hurtling towards the tire barrier, and my eyes are popping out of my head. I spot a narrow gap and manage to just squeeze through. Meanwhile, Scott Harvey speeds on by, and we're relegated to 13th. We recover well, setting a personal best on the final lap of the race, but it's not enough to close the gap to Harvey ahead, and we come home in 13th, scoring 3 precious championship points and moving us forward 1 position to 16th in the season standings. That was Ledenon. Thanks for coming along on the ride. We'll catch you in the next one.